Have you ever heard about the ghost train? In the shadowy corners of urban legends, a tale whispers of a decommissioned train line, a spectral railway that supposedly carries passengers not to bustling cities or quaint countryside stations, but into the all-consuming abyss. This is the story of the ghost train, a chilling narrative that has woven itself into the fabric of our collective fears, captivating and horrifying us in equal measure. Its tracks, though seemingly abandoned, echo with a haunting energy, as if the trains still thunder along their rusty iron veins, carrying their phantom passengers into an eternal night. The whispers of this spectral locomotive have intrigued, fascinated, and terrified generations. The ghost train is not just a mere tale to frighten children or a spooky campfire story for thrill seekers. No, it's a chilling reminder of a history steeped in tragedy, a ghostly echo of a time we'd rather forget, but the universe won't let us. Now imagine being Neha Kumal, a fearless urban explorer with a thirst for the unknown. She's heard the whispers, the rumors, and the spine-chilling tales. Neha, with her insatiable curiosity, has decided to delve into the heart of this mystery, to capture footage for her blog, to bring the ghost train out of the shadows and into the glaring light of public scrutiny. She's heard the warnings, the pleas to stay away, the stories of those who dared to cross the threshold and never returned. But Neha isn't one to back down. She's prepared, armed with her camera, her courage, and a resolve that rivals the bravest of hearts. And so, as dusk gives way to the inky black of night, Neha finds herself on a deserted platform. The air grows colder, the silence descends, and then the distant yet unmistakable sound of a train's whistle pierces the quiet. A shiver runs down her spine, but Neha stands her ground. Neha, armed with her camera, steps onto what appears to be an active train. Little does she know, her journey into the unknown has just begun. As the train departs the station, everything seems normal. Neha Kumal, our intrepid urban explorer, takes a moment to absorb her surroundings. She's on board what appears to be a perfectly ordinary train, the gentle hum of the engine, the soft chatter of fellow passengers, the rhythmic clatter of wheels over tracks. But as the train pulls away, Neha's keen eye starts to pick up on subtle oddities. The passengers, they seem out of place. Their clothing is dated, not in a trendy retro fashion, but as if they've stepped right out of a time capsule from the mid-20th century. Neha's curiosity is piqued. She weaves her way through the carriage, the soft murmur of conversation filling her ears. But the words themselves are lost, as if spoken through a thick veil of fog. An eerie silence seems to hang over the train, a quiet that's almost tangible. It's not the usual cacophony of a bustling train ride, but a silence that seems to swallow up the noise, leaving behind a hollow echo. Neha's heart starts to race. She glances around at her fellow passengers, their faces hidden in shadow despite the flickering train lights. The landscape outside the window shifts, the familiar cityscape giving way to a desolate expanse of darkness. The train continues its journey, the rhythm of the tracks a haunting lullaby in the midst of this uncanny scene. A chill runs down Neha's spine as she spots a woman at the far end of the carriage. The woman's clothing, her demeanor, everything about her screams of a bygone era. And in that moment, Neha recognizes her. The woman is Parvati Patel, Neha's great-grandmother who fell victim to the Amritsar train massacre of 1947. The realization hits Neha like a freight train. She's no longer just a passenger on this train. She's a part of its history, a part of its story. The train, the passengers, the silence, they all belong to another time, another place. A chilling thought dawns upon Neha. This is not an ordinary journey, she whispers, the words barely escaping her lips. Neha, now anxious, realizes that this is no ordinary journey. This train, she realizes, is the ghost train, doomed to carry its spectral passengers into the abyss. As the train rolls into the darkness, the truth begins to unravel. The air inside the carriage becomes heavier. The whispers of long-gone conversations fill Neha's ears. Her heart pounds in her chest as she realizes the chilling truth. The train she boarded, the one she thought was merely a relic of the past, was not just any train. It was the infamous train from the 1947 Amritsar massacre, a ghostly remnant of history's darkest hour. The realization hits her like a punch to the gut, leaving her breathless. Her mind races, connecting the dots of the stories she had heard growing up. Stories of a train of death, carrying thousands of innocent souls to their untimely demise during the partition of India. Stories that were once just terrifying tales from the past now become her horrifying reality. A cold chill sweeps over her as she looks around at the spectral figures occupying the seats, the scene a nightmarish mirror of the past. Her great-grandmother sits staring out the window into the nothingness. Neha calls out to her grandmother. Parvati turns to face Neha, but her glare is cold and empty. Her heart skips a beat. This was her great-grandmother, Parvati Patel, a woman who was murdered as she tried to board the train. A woman who she had only known through faded photographs and family stories now stood before her, a ghostly apparition in the spectral light of the train. Parvati's face, etched with the pain of a tragic past, her eyes vacant, yet filled with a sorrow that transcends time. She doesn't speak, but her presence speaks volumes. A single tear rolls down Neha's cheek, her breath hitching in her throat. This was the woman who had been a victim of one of the most horrific events in history. This was the woman whose life had been abruptly cut short, her journey ending on this very train. The chilling revelation leaves Neha paralyzed with fear. The train, the passengers, her great-grandmother, all victims of a horrifying event, trapped in a continuous loop of their final journey. Parvati's ghostly presence sends chills down Neha's spine. The train continues its journey into the abyss, the echoes of the past resonating with every turn of the wheels. Neha's encounter with the past is far from over. It's only just begun. The train pulls into its final destination, a place Neha could never have imagined. The hum of the ghost train's engine dies down, replaced with an eerie, chilling silence. It's as if the air itself is holding its breath, awaiting the horrors that are about to unfold. As the doors creak open, an icy gust of wind sweeps through the carriage, carrying with it a palpable sense of dread. Neha steps off the train and into a scene of unimaginable terror. It's a vision of the other side, a chilling echo of a past stained by blood and tears. Neha is standing in the midst of chaos, surrounded by the heart-wrenching cries of thousands of souls trapped in their final moments. The air is thick with despair, the ground littered with remnants of a bygone era. She's in the middle of the infamous 1947 Amritsar train massacre, a scene of horror that has been etched into the annals of history. As she takes in the horrifying scene, a realization dawns upon her that sends a shiver down her spine. The ghost train's final destination isn't a physical place, it's a temporal one. She's not just witnessing history, she's a part of it. She watches what appears to be the massacre and action specters running and screaming. Some fall as if they were just shot. Blood seems to flow as people fall. At her feet, she sees her grandmother looking up at her. Half of her face is missing as if blown off. Neha's heart pounds in her chest like a drum, echoing the terror that grips her. This isn't a simple urban exploration anymore. This is a nightmare from which she can't wake up. She's trapped in a ghostly echo of the past, a chilling reminder of the atrocities humanity is capable of. A sense of dread washes over Neha as she realizes her predicament. She's a passenger on a ghost train, a train that carries the tormented souls of the past into the abyss. She's boarded a train to the other side, and there's no return ticket. An apparition turns and glares at Neha. It points to her as if it was instructing someone to her. Neha, in a state of complete terror, wishes to escape, but it's too late. She's already arrived at the ghost train's final destination, the other side. The following morning, the station where Neha boarded the train begins bustling with activity. A train porter notices a camera laying on the track. Quickly, he picks up the camera and looks at it, viewing the pictures that had been taken with the camera. He sees an Indian woman taking selfies and taking pictures of the trains in the station. But the happy pictures take an ominous turn. An eerie train, one he had never seen at the station. Where did it come from? The next pictures were macabre images of people with blurred faces. A train that was definitely not of this time. Was this some sort of joke? He thought. Then a picture that sent chills up the man's spine. The last pictures was of the woman who had taken the selfies at the beginning of the pictures. But this time she was in period clothing. She was staring out the window into what appeared to be nothingness. She had tears of blood flowing from her eyes. The final picture, the woman glares at the camera as if she was looking at the porter. He dropped the camera, his heart pounding. What did he see? Who was the woman? And where did that train come from?